We've all seen them. Those long, scrolling sales pages for supplements that seem to promise the world. But have you ever really stopped to think about how they're so persuasive? Well, today, we're not going to review a product. We're going to deconstruct the powerful blueprint behind the pitch.
So you're just scrolling online, minding your own business, and then an ad pops up that feels like it's reading your mind. It's offering a simple, almost too good to be true fix for a problem you've been struggling with forever. It's a pretty common experience, right? And today, we're dissecting a perfect example of this strategy in action.
And this is it. This is the core promise from our source material, the sales page for a supplement called Sleep Lean. Just look at those keywords: powerful, new, healthy. This language, right from the headline, immediately frames the product as this big, innovative, and totally safe solution.
So, to really see how this all works, we're going to follow their exact formula. We'll start with that irresistible promise they make. Then we'll uncover the unique villain they create. Look at the magic bullet solution they offer. Picture the amazing results they paint. And finally, we'll break down the classic sales tactics they use to get you to click buy.
Okay, first up, the grand promise. See, to sell a solution, you first have to make the customer feel completely understood, and this pitch starts by tapping directly into a really deep and common frustration.
This is a classic pain and dream setup. The pain, the total frustration and failure of diet and exercise. The dream, an effortless alternative. By positioning Sleep Lean as something you just take before bed, it basically removes all the hard work we associate with weight loss, and that makes the promise incredibly appealing.
All right, now that they've keyed in on that pain point, the pitch does something really clever. It introduces a villain, a root cause that you've probably never even considered. And that makes you feel like, hey, maybe it's not my fault after all. And here's the genius part. The problem, according to them, isn't your fault at all. It's not your diet, it's not your exercise routine. Nope. The real enemy is the blue light from our screens and a lack of what's called N-REM sleep. That super deep, restorative sleep our bodies crave. This completely reframes the problem, making all your past efforts feel kind of, irrelevant.
And this just illustrates the strategy perfectly. On one side, you have the old, hard methods that probably haven't worked for you. On the other, you have this new, secret knowledge. By presenting this brand new root cause, the pitch offers you a fresh sense of hope. It's a powerful psychological shift, taking you from "I failed" to "Oh, I was just fighting the wrong enemy this whole time."
So, if blue light and bad sleep are the villains, who's the hero in the story? Well, that brings us to the product itself, the so-called proprietary blend of ingredients.
What's so fascinating here is how every single ingredient is tied back into the story they just told you. We've got 8 natural components. And notice how lutein is specifically called out as a blue light filter, a direct weapon against the villain they just introduced. Others, like Valerian root, directly support the sleep part of the promise. It creates this feeling of a scientifically designed solution, even if some of the descriptions, like inulin provides health benefits, are, intentionally a little vague.
So they've laid out the problem and presented the solution. Now the pitch shifts gears to paint this really vivid picture of your future. What will your life actually look like after you start using this product? The whole transformation is laid out in this really clear, compelling sequence. And notice how it starts with internal feelings you'd notice pretty quickly, like more energy. Then it moves to the external changes other people will see, like brighter skin. This is designed to build credibility before it delivers the ultimate payoff, losing the weight and, crucially, keeping it off. It's a journey from feeling good to looking good.
This kind of language is just masterful at overcoming your objections before you can even think of them. When it says your current situation doesn't matter, it basically removes any reason for you to think, oh, this won't work for me. It makes the promise feel universal and, at the same time, tailor-made just for you.
Okay, so they've made the big promise, they've identified a unique villain, and they've presented the hero solution. Now for the final act. How do they actually close the deal? This is where we really see the classic anatomy of a sales pitch come to life.
It really comes down to this powerful 4-part cocktail of persuasion. First, they create urgency through scarcity. Then they build trust with social proof. After that, they eliminate your fear with risk reversal. And finally, they sweeten the whole deal with bonus offers. Let's break down exactly how each one works.
First up, scarcity. By making it an online exclusive available only on this page, they trigger that fear of missing out.
The feeling that if you leave this page, the opportunity might just be gone forever. It's a simple but really potent way to push you past any hesitation.
Next, social proof. The page splashes this huge number of reviews right in front of you. Seeing that over 120,000 people have supposedly tried the product makes a potential buyer feel so much safer. It taps into our natural tendency to follow the crowd. If they all did it, it must be okay, right?
But even with all that social proof, there's still a little risk, isn't there? So how do you get rid of it completely? Simple. You reverse it. The source offers this super generous 90-day money-back guarantee, which basically lets you try the product for free.
And they don't just say it, they double down on it with his promise. This quote is specifically designed to silence any tiny, lingering doubt in your mind. By removing all the financial risk, the only question left for you to ask is, well, why not try it?
And finally, just to push a hesitant buyer over the edge, they add more value. These free guides aren't just random, they're perfectly aligned with the target audience's other desires, for health, for confidence. It makes the entire package feel like an absolutely incredible deal.
Finally, the pricing itself is a closing tool. This is a classic example of what's called price anchoring. By making the smaller packages look pretty expensive on a per-bottle basis, the biggest package is framed as the smart financial choice. And that little claim that 94% of customers choose it, that's just another layer of social proof, guiding you towards their most profitable option.
So when you put it all together, you see it's not just a product page, it's a very carefully constructed psychological journey. It's designed to take you from a state of frustration to a state of hope, provide a unique solution, and then systematically remove every single barrier to purchase. The key takeaway here isn't about this one supplement, but about recognizing this powerful formula wherever you see it online.
And that leaves us with a final thought. This entire structure is built to make a complex problem feel incredibly simple and to make a new solution feel absolutely certain. So the real question for us is, when you see a pitch this well crafted, what becomes the most important thing for you to ask before you decide?